If I tell you there was a killer who did not use a gun or a knife or poison but stood beside hospital beds and decided with a single injection who would live and who would die, the most terrifying part is that people called him a hero. This is the story of a city that never slept, where in the darkness of night a place meant to save lives allowed death to work in silence. St. Jude Medical Center was a famous hospital where the ICU was always full and nurses were seen as angels during the night shift. Inside this ICU a truth was being born that no one could imagine. Daniel Ross was a quiet and responsible nurse who always volunteered for extra shifts. Patients trusted him, doctors considered him reliable, management saw him as the perfect employee, but behind this perfect image was a secret that was slowly consuming lives. On a cold night in January, an elderly woman named Margaret Hill, who was showing signs of recovery, suddenly died from cardiac arrest. Doctors called it natural causes and closed the file. No one asked why her vital signs were normal just minutes earlier, and no one asked who was present in the ward that night. Over the next few months these deaths began to increase. All cases happened at night, all patients were stable, and every time Daniel Ross was on duty the hospital dismissed it as pressure and workload. Only one doctor felt that something was very wrong. When Dr. Emily Carter examined the data, the numbers felt like they were lying. She began connecting dates and times, and when the picture became clear, every line stopped at Daniel Ross. She raised concerns, but the system chose silence. Then an autopsy revealed something in the blood that could only come from inside the hospital: potassium chloride, a drug that can save a life and also ended. Access to this drug was limited to very few people. The investigation began, and slowly the layers of truth were uncovered. When the medication system data was reviewed, everything became clear. Daniel Ross had accessed injections that were never prescribed by any doctor, but by then it was far too late. When Daniel Ross was arrested, there was no regret and no fear on his face, as if he truly believed he had done nothing wrong. Inside the courtroom he listened in silence, while outside people tried to understand how a nurse could become a killer. Even today this story is not just about one man, it is a reflection of a failed system, and it leaves behind one unanswered question: when we place our lives in someone's hands, do we ever truly know who they are?